The year is 1862. We are in London. The air outside is thick. It is a soup of coal smoke and river fog. The sound of horse hooves against the cobblestones is muffled. Everything outside is gray. Everything outside is damp. But inside this room, it is quiet. It is warm. The fire crackles in the hearth. Heavy velvet curtains are drawn tight against the chill. On the bed lies a young woman. Let us call her Clara. She is pale. Her skin is translucent, like fine porcelain held up to a candle. She is shivering, though the room is stifling. Her stomach cramps with a violence she cannot articulate. Her throat burns. Her eyes are rimmed with a deep, bruised purple. The doctors have come and gone. They are men of science, men of deep learning. They wear dark wool coats and carry leather bags smelling of iodine and dried lavender. They have felt her pulse. They have examined her tongue. They have prescribed fresh air. They have prescribed rest. They have prescribed laudanum to ease the terror of her waking hours. They are baffled. They call it a nervous affliction. They call it a gastric fever. They call it hysteria. We place our absolute faith in the hands of healers, assuming that knowledge is a shield. Yet,
the doctors do not know what is killing Clara. Clara does not know what is killing Clara, but we know. Look past the bed. Look past the sweating glass of the window. Look at the walls. The room is covered in wallpaper. It is a stunning, mesmerizing pattern. Interlocking vines. Elaborate ferns. A dense, chaotic forest trapped in 2 dimensions. And the color. The color is magnificent. It is a green so vivid it almost hums in the gaslight. It is emerald. It is the color of a wet leaf in the sun. It is a color that does not exist in the soot-stained streets of London. It is a piece of captured spring. It is beautiful. And it is entirely made of poison. This is Scheele's green, or perhaps its deadlier cousin, emerald green. The pigment is a chemical compound, cupric hydrogen arsenite, copper and arsenic. The arsenic is not locked away. It is not sealed behind a glaze. It is simply mixed with animal glue and slathered onto the paper. It dries into a fine microscopic powder. Every time Clara's maid sweeps the floor, the green powder lifts into the air. Every time Clara brushes against the wall, the green powder clings to her dress.
we build sanctuaries to keep out the dark. We build homes with locks and thick walls to protect ourselves from the violence of the world. Yet how deeply tragic it is that we so often carry the violence inside with our own hands. We paint the dark onto our very walls and call it beauty. Inside Clara's body, the arsenic is quietly dismantling her. It works on a molecular level. It is a mimic. Arsenic looks, chemically speaking, very much like phosphorus. Phosphorus is essential for human life. It is the fuel for our cells. When the arsenic enters her cells, the body welcomes it. The body thinks it is being fed. But arsenic does not create energy. It blocks the enzymes. It shuts down the cellular engines one by one. The cells suffocate. The tissues die. It is a silent betrayal. The body is tricked into destroying itself. Clara takes another shallow breath. The green wallpaper seems to shimmer in the low light. A beautiful synthetic forest. A quiet velvet executioner. To understand the green room, we must travel backward. We must leave the Victorian bedroom and descend into the dark. Arsenic is not a Victorian invention. It is an element. It was born in the hearts of dying stars, heavy and cold, and scattered across the forming earth billions of years ago. It sleeps in the crust of the planet. The ancients knew it. The Greeks and the Romans mined it. They did not have our modern chemistry. They knew it as ores, realgar, which is ruby red, orpiment, which is a brilliant, blinding yellow. To mine these ores was a death sentence. The Roman emperors sent slaves to the arsenic mines. The air was thick with toxic dust. The workers coughed up blood. Their hair fell out. Their skin erupted in lesions. The ancients understood that this heavy metal held a dark power. Time is a slow circle. Humanity constantly rediscovers the things that can destroy it, each time believing we have finally learned to tame the beast. We dig up the ancient dark, give it a new name, and invite it into our homes. Let us move forward. It is 1775. A chemist named Carl Wilhelm Scheele is working in his laboratory in Sweden. He is a brilliant man, a man who plays with the building blocks of the universe. He combines sodium carbonate, arsenious oxide, copper sulfate. He heats the mixture. He filters it. He dries.
When he is finished, he has a powder. The powder is green. It is the most beautiful green the world has ever seen. It does not fade in the sunlight. It does not darken with age. It is cheap to produce. It is a triumph of human ingenuity. Scheele knows it is toxic. He writes letters warning of its danger. But commerce is a river that does not listen to warnings. It only flows toward profit. By the 19th century, the Industrial Revolution has blackened the skies of Europe. The forests are retreating. The cities are crowded, foul-smelling and desperately gray. The people crave nature. They crave light. They crave the illusion of a world that is not covered in soot. And so, they turn to chemistry. Scheele's green, and later emerald green, become an obsession. They are the colors of the era. The color is everywhere. It is a mania. It is not just on the wallpaper, it is woven into carpets. It is painted onto children's toys. It is used to dye the artificial leaves on women's hats.
A single ball gown dyed with emerald green could contain up to 900 grains of arsenic. A fatal dose for a human adult is 4 or 5 grains. A woman wearing the height of fashion was wearing enough poison to kill 200 people. We are drawn to the vibrant. We are hypnotized by the new, the shining, the brilliant thing. We rarely pause to ask what it costs to make the world so bright. Beauty is often a mask, and society is more than willing to wear it, even as it suffocates. The danger was not merely in the dust. The danger was in the air itself. Let us travel to an island. The year is 1821. The island is St. Helena, a remote volcanic rock in the South Atlantic. Here, the deposed Emperor of France, Napoleon Bonaparte, is living in exile. His house, Longwood, is damp. It is plagued by mold. The walls of his drawing room are covered in a beautiful wallpaper. The pattern features green stars. Napoleon is dying. He suffers from terrible stomach pains. He is weak. His doctors are confused. They diagnose stomach cancer. But the truth is quietly multiplying on the walls around him. In damp environments, a specific fungus grows on wallpaper paste. When this fungus encounters arsenic in the green dye, a chemical reaction occurs. The fungus needs to get rid of the It smells faintly of garlic. It is utterly invisible, and it is highly toxic. As Napoleon sat by the fire, breathing the damp, moldy air of Longwood, he was inhaling a constant, low-level dose of poison gas. The island did not kill the emperor. The wallpaper did.
Even as evidence mounted, the denial was absolute. Consider William Morris, the legendary designer of the arts and crafts movement. He created patterns that are still revered today: lush, organic, flowing tapestries of nature. He used arsenic in his greens. He owned shares in the largest arsenic mine in England. When doctors began to publish reports linking the illnesses of families to their green walls, Morris scoffed. He called it a conspiracy. He refused to believe that his beautiful creations could be agents of death. How easily the mind protects its own creations. We weave comforting narratives around the things we love, blinding ourselves to their sharp edges. It is terrifying to accept that the art we make, the homes we build, might be quietly turning against us. The society of the 19th century lived inside a toxic terrarium. They slept in it. They wore it. They played with it. The poison was the background noise of their existence. A slow
Arsenic was not always an accident. It was not always a tragic byproduct of interior design. Sometimes it was a weapon. Arsenic trioxide is a white powder. It resembles flour. It resembles powdered sugar. More importantly, it has no taste. It has no odor. In a cup of hot tea, it vanishes completely. In a bowl of porridge, it leaves no trace. In the 19th century, it earned a chilling nickname: the inheritance powder. It was cheap. It was sold in pharmacies as rat poison. Anyone could buy it. A frustrated wife, a greedy nephew, a desperate lover. The symptoms of arsenic poisoning were convenient: the vomiting, the diarrhea, the intense cramping. In a time when cholera and dysentery swept through cities like wildfire, a death by arsenic looked perfectly natural. It was the perfect crime, a slow decline. The grieving relative sitting by the bedside, offering sips of water laced with just a little more of the white powder. The quiet.
A British chemist named James Marsh is called to testify in a murder trial. A man is accused of poisoning his grandfather with arsenic in his coffee. Marsh uses the standard test of the day. He detects arsenic in the victim's stomach, but the test produces a yellow precipitate that deteriorates quickly. By the time he presents his findings to the jury, the visual evidence has degraded. The jury is not convinced. The accused walks free. Marsh is furious. He is a man of precision. He knows the man is guilty. He returns to his laboratory. He is determined to create a test that cannot be argued with, a test that leaves a permanent, undeniable physical mark of guilt. He creates the Marsh test. It is a marvel of elegant chemistry. He takes a sample of fluid from a victim's stomach. He places it in a sealed glass flask. He adds pure zinc. He adds pure sulfuric acid. If there is even a trace amount of arsenic in the tissue, a reaction begins. The mixture bubbles. It generates arsine gas. This gas is channeled through a thin glass tube. Marsh takes a flame and heats the tube. As the arsine gas passes through the heated section of the glass, the heat fractures the molecule. The hydrogen burns away. The pure arsenic is left behind. It condenses on the cool part of the glass just beyond the flame. It forms a mirror. A brilliant.
It is a ghost forced to materialize. It is the invisible killer, trapped and displayed for all to see. The mirror is permanent. It can be held up in a courtroom. It can be passed from juror to juror. The truth, once hidden in the blood, is drawn out by fire and trapped in glass. There is a profound poetry in science. It is the art of forcing the universe to confess its secrets, making the invisible visible, turning whispers into stone. The Marsh test changed the world. Suddenly, the inheritance powder was no longer a safe bet. Exhumations were ordered. Graveyards were dug up. The silver-black mirror condemned dozens of poisoners to the gallows. Forensic toxicology was born. Simultaneously, the public began to awaken to the danger of the green rooms.
We are sitting in our own sanctuaries. We feel safe. We trust the materials that surround us. We trust the manufacturers. We trust the regulators. We believe that we are smarter than the Victorians in their arsenic ball gowns. But the present is always ignorant of its own ghosts. What invisible tides are seeping through our walls tonight? What microscopic dust? What forever chemicals? What unseen frequencies are we absorbing with every breath? In 100 years, what will historians look back on with horrified pity? What common, beautiful, everyday object will be revealed as our generation's poison? We are all living in a grand experiment. We are all breathing the air of our time. The green room is never truly gone. It simply changes color.